Picture this. It's freezing cold, pitch black, and somewhere out in the dark, something is watching you. That something has teeth like knives, a nose that can smell you from half a mile away, and it hunts in packs. If you lived 25,000 years ago, this was your reality every single night. And that creature? It was a wolf. Now here's the wild part. That same animal, that terrifying night-stalking predator, is probably asleep on your couch right now, or drooling on your shoe, or begging for a piece of your sandwich. So how in the world did we go from run for your life to who's a good boy? Let's get into it. Here's something people get wrong all the time. They think early humans just decided to tame wolves. Like someone sat around a fire and said, "You know what we need? A furry alarm system that also fetches sticks." That's not what happened. Not even close. Dogs weren't invented. They were an accident. And honestly, the wolves might have done most of the work themselves. Let's rewind to the Ice Age. Life back then was rough, and I mean rough. Small groups of humans, maybe a few dozen people, wandering huge stretches of frozen land, just trying to not starve. Winters were brutal. One bad injury could kill you. Every single day was survival mode. And humans, even back then, were kind of messy eaters. Bones left over, scraps of meat, bits of hide, all of it just tossed aside near camp. To a hungry wolf watching from the tree line, that's basically an all-you-can-eat buffet. Free calories, no hunting required. Now, not every wolf was brave enough to get close. Most kept their distance. Wolves are naturally terrified of humans, and for good reason. Get too close, get too aggressive, and you're getting speared. But every once in a while, a wolf came along that was just different, calmer, less jumpy, more curious than scared. And those wolves had an advantage. They could hang near camp, snag the leftovers, and skip the whole risk-your-life hunting elk thing entirely. Generation after generation, something strange started happening. The calm, chill wolves kept surviving and having pups. They either got killed off or scared away. Nature was quietly picking a personality type, and it wasn't the fierce one. Okay, I know this sounds like a nice story humans made up to feel good, but scientists actually tested this idea, and the results are honestly kind of shocking. Back in 1959, a Russian scientist named Dmitry Belyaev ran an experiment with silver foxes in Siberia. His method was almost stupidly simple. Every generation, he only bred the calmest, friendliest foxes. That's it. No training, no tricks, just picking the chill ones. Within a few generations, we're talking decades, not centuries, those foxes started acting like dogs, wagging tails, whining for attention, licking hands. But here's the part that gets me every time. Their bodies changed too. Floppy ears, shorter snouts, patches of white fur, curly tails. Nobody bred them to look different. It just happened. Turns out, when animals get less aggressive, cute features tend to follow along for the ride. Softer faces, smaller jaws. It's like evolution has a built-in cute mode that switches on once the aggression switches off. So somewhere out on the Ice Age tundra, there were probably wolves that looked just a little smaller, a little softer, a little less apex predator than the rest of the pack. Not pets, not even close to tame, but not fully wild anymore either. Once humans figured out these calmer wolves were sticking around, they probably noticed something pretty quickly. Having a wolf nearby was actually useful. Wolves hear danger before we do. They smell predators from crazy distances. If a bear was creeping up, the wolves reacted first. If strangers approached the camp, the wolves knew before anyone else. So this wasn't just wolves using humans for food anymore. It became a trade. Humans got protection and an early warning system. Wolves got an easy meal. Both sides won, and neither one had to sign a contract. This is actually why dogs get the title of humanity's first domesticated animal. Before farming, before sheep, before goats, before we figured out how to grow our own food, we'd already partnered up with an entirely different species. And when farming did eventually show up, dogs adapted again, evolving to digest starchy foods. Here's where it stops being just biology and starts getting kind of beautiful. Scientists found that when a human and a dog lock eyes, both of their brains release oxytocin, the same chemical that floods a parent's brain when they're bonding with a newborn. Wolves don't do this with people. Dogs do. That look your dog gives you, that's not random. That's thousands of years of evolution wiring your dog's brain to connect with yours. Even those classic puppy dog eyes probably became more common over time, simply because humans were drawn to dogs that looked emotionally expressive. We didn't just domesticate wolves, we shaped them into something built to emotionally hook us. Of course, it hasn't all been good. Selective breeding over the centuries has caused real problems too. Some breeds struggle to breathe, some have chronic joint issues, some can barely give birth without help. Domestication came with real costs. But even with all that, the wolf never fully left. Watch any dog circle around a few times before lying down. That's an old instinct, like they're still flattening grass that isn't there. Watch them howl, or bury a treat, or twitch while dreaming. That's an Ice Age predator, still flickering just under the surface. And honestly, that connection goes back further and deeper than most people realize. In Germany, archaeologists found a burial site nearly 14,000 years old. Inside, a man, a woman, and a dog buried together with care. Tests showed that dog had actually gotten severely sick as a puppy and somehow survived for weeks, maybe months afterward. Think about what that means. In the middle of the Ice Age, when food was scarce and survival was never guaranteed, these humans spent their limited time and resources nursing a sick puppy back to health. That's not useful. That's not convenient. That's love. Full stop. So next time your dog curls up next to you on the couch or rests their head on your lap for absolutely no reason, remember, this bond didn't start yesterday. It didn't start with dog parks or squeaky toys or treats shaped like bacon. It started tens of thousands of years ago with a nervous animal creeping just a little closer to a fire, deciding just this once not to run. And somehow that tiny decision turned into one of the greatest friendships in the history of life on Earth. Pretty wild that your best friend has no idea just how far back this whole thing goes. But now you do.